Welcome back. So I have been taking it easy a bit this week, but decided to go in and do some jobs. Just, a few hours here and there. And first one was oil change. So this is the little housing in there that contains the filter for the oil. And it's a bit difficult to see in there. But anyway, it's a pretty good setup on the Audi engine, because instead of having just one of those screw-on filters, you just take the cap off of this thing and it comes out, or the filter comes out with it. That's the enclosure there. So the filter comes out with it, and then you just swap out the filter and put the cap back on. So it's actually less messy than a normal one. And underneath there, just got the drain pan set up there. So there's the other filter there that was in there, and the old O-ring. And when you buy your whole rig there, you get a new O-ring for the cap, and then that's the new filter. So pretty good setup. I actually liked how they do this, different than most cars and stuff. So here's the part there, just draining the oil out in 8 quarts of oil. Really can't do this without making a little bit of a mess, at least on your hands here. So I got that done. It didn't take long, and of course I don't have the ability to run the engine up to warm up the oil, but given it's been sort of in the high 80s and 90 degrees recently, it's not like the oil is really viscous there, so it didn't take long for that to drain out. And while that was happening, I was doing a couple of other little jobs. So pretty happy about how the test with the winglets came out. Mark was happy with that after reviewing that. And also now got the cables tightened a little bit for the ailerons, so that ailerons seem to be pretty good now. I might actually take them up a little bit tighter. I think 60 pounds is what I saw recommended somewhere for the cable tightness, and I've got about 52 right now. So back with this, so there's that new filter. So really all you do, it's a bit difficult to do with one hand because I've got the camera or my phone in the other hand. So you just slot that in there, and it just, a bit of pressure on there, it just clicks into place. And then you can just go and basically screw it into place. I've already put some oil around that O-ring to make sure it was lubricated. So yeah, it just drops in there. Unfortunately, when I had set all this stuff up with the radiator and the intercooler and all that sort of stuff, I had left enough space to do this. It's a bit difficult to get onto that sort of nut that's on the top of the lid there. So I had to buy a 15/16 socket. And well, actually we already had the socket, but I had to buy an extension for it, for the half-inch ratchet. I didn't have one of those. So anyway, you see, it just doesn't take too much there to screw that in, and then just get the socket on there and snug it up nicely. And that's the filter changed. So there's the ratchet there with the socket extension I got on there. And actually, I did buy a special socket for that, because I don't believe I had one for that actually. So I bought that as well. So got that all tightened up, and the oil was already pretty much drained out of the bottom there. So all I had to do was put the oil in it, put the new oil in. Of course, I still couldn't run the engine because it doesn't have any load on it right now. Obviously, I'm waiting for that new coupling to be match drilled. But this is the oil I'm using, Mobil 1, and it's the ESP, and it is specifically recommended for this engine. There are other brands as well, but this is the one that was easy enough to get. You see VW507 there in the middle. That's the spec for this engine. So should be good. Before I was just using the 5W30, the regular Mobil 1, but anyway, this is the one specifically designed for that. And so next job, this is the next day now. Actually, this is today, or Friday. Changing out these nuts here on the bolts that hold the wings on, because we just put just standard nuts on there when we bolted the wings on there a few weeks ago. So I'm putting the metal locking nuts on there, and as you can see, I've got that one on there. And it's a little tricky to do it with one person, because I need to sort of wedge in the wrench on the back side there so it doesn't move when I loosen and tighten those the nut on this end, on this side. So there's the other one there. So I did the 4 big ones there, which on the wing, on the spars, And then there's the leading edge ones here. They already had sort of nylocks on those, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to switch those out for some metal locking nuts as well. I'm not really happy about using the nylocks on there. And then of course I still have to torque those up. And lastly, I got the registration came through. I've been sort of looking on the FAA website, and notice came through just a day or so ago. So I was all set up then to put the N number on. So I already bought this N number a little while ago, just from a website that does any type of stick-on stencils or whatever. So the significance of the number, because I'm sure everybody will ask, the 352 Tango Delta. So the 3 is for a 3-liter engine, the 5 is for how many blades are on the prop, the 2 is how many turbos, and the TD just stands for turbo diesel. So there is a reason for the numbering that I got there, and of course it was available. So it's pretty hard to find a decent number that's available these days. But anyway, happy how that came out, and of course I put the experimental sticker above it there because I couldn't think of a better place to put it, and I think it looks alright. So yeah, that's got the registration on there now, and so the next step is the airworthiness certificate, but probably won't actually fully file that until the redrive is all set up, so we can get the final empty weight there on the aircraft with the oil shuttle in and everything sort of bolted up for that redrive. So it's going to take a little bit, and that'll probably happen right after Oshkosh. So I've still got other little jobs to deal with, but anyway, that's our update for this week. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you again next week.